Let's get into it. Do you guys remember the TikToker who decided that it would be a good idea to inform illegal immigrants to invade homes that weren't occupied, whether or not someone went to the grocery store or it was just uninhabited, whatever? They should go in and that they're able to claim the house. They're able to seize the house, as he put it. Well, that gentleman, I was wondering what's going to happen to this dude. I was like, this guy needs to see some legal action. I have a update for you about this gentleman. Let's get into it right now.
Migrant influencer who advises other migrants on getting into the U.S. and taking advantage of the system is now reportedly on the run from immigration officials. Leonel Moreno became known for his TikTok videos explaining how to squat in U.S. homes, get money from the U.S. government, and evade U.S. authorities. He crossed the border illegally in 2022 in Eagle Pass, Texas, and was enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. But officials say he failed to follow the rules, and he's now in hiding. News Nation's Allie Bradley joins us live. Allie, do authorities have any idea where he could be?
Yeah, so right now they're trying to figure that out, right? Because this Venezuelan migrant, Leonel Moreno, who you're talking about there, he went viral after he was sharing about how he got all this free money from America. And then he was guiding these so-called newcomers on how to actually squat and take advantage of living in people's homes, doing it under our laws. Take a listen here.
I learned that there's a law that says if a house is not inhabited, we can take it. Here in the United States, terrain deformation also applies, and I think that will be my next business: invade abandoned houses.
Okay, so that was Leonel Moreno, who is being called the migrant influencer. He had never showed up to his initial check-in with ICE after he crossed into the country illegally in April of 2022 into Eagle Pass. He was paroled in back then. Then when he was initially processed, he was placed into the Alternatives to Detention program. He was given a cell phone as a tracking device. But because he didn't follow the rules, DHS sources say he is now listed as a pre-order absconder, somebody who is running away. And he was terminated from the ATD program and has a notice to appear in Florida in court in February of 2025. But here's the thing. Moreno has been quite the hard man to track down. The address he initially provided was for Catholic Charities in Miami, but now sources say he has a possible address listed in Ohio. Now, check this out. Speaking of Ohio, this guy, he continues to take advantage of the system as well, and the gaps in the intel that we're seeing that the FBI director has talked about. What law enforcement in Butler County say is a massive smack in the face. Look at this guy. It's all the same man. He has been in Sheriff Jones's jail in Butler County, Ohio, 11 times. He used 7 different names, 3 different dates of birth, and according to the sheriff, has been deported 8 times. Yet 46-year-old Furman Garcia Gutierrez just keeps coming back. And obviously he's having success until he does something illegal. This time around, possession of drugs and weapons while intoxicated and obstructing. Now, the sheriff was just holding a news conference here, Nicole. He was talking about since 2021, they have arrested nearly 1,000 immigrants that they've had in their jail that had ICE detainers on them, Nicole. They're saying that it is a problem, calling every state a border state, Nicole.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely incredible. So the guy's on the run. They just, and this is exactly the things that people have been talking about. You're going to let him in the country. You're going to say, hey, we need to check up on you in this time. And then just, it's a giant country. What makes you think they're just going to come back? For the potential to have to leave? They're like, you just gave me a phone. You're giving me money. I'm going to go do whatever I got to do. And if I can work cash and get cash anywhere I can, I'm just going to do that. I'm not coming back to answer to you. Why would I do that? And that's exactly what this gentleman did up until a point. Let me just remind you of what this guy was saying. I just want to read this off because this is wild. My people, I have thought about invading a home in the U.S. states now that I became aware of a law that exists. If a house is unoccupied, you can take it over. Capisci? Okay, what else? Guys, the law of taking over land applies here in the United States, and I think That will be my next business. But there's more, he says. Here, let's go. Invade houses that are abandoned now that I have found some information. Okay, what else? Like my African friends, they told me that they have 7 homes confiscated. As the same saying goes, Daddy, you got to find a way. What? Invading homes now that we are homeless and it's the only way we have. Wow, this guy's talking like he's not even just talking about like just doing it. He's talking to other newcomers as though they have no choice and this is what they should do. He's almost like forming a militia of people. It's almost like Antifa, the way they say Antifa isn't really, it's so many different sections of people that you can't call it one group, which is nonsense. He's kind of doing that exact same thing. He's saying, guys, this is what we have to do. This is going to be our next business. But here's the thing about this guy. This isn't the only thing that he did. That's all I knew of at first. But take a look. This is a video. Well, this is just a huge picture. But this is him counting money, as you can see. Here, I'll go down a little bit. Here, I'll actually make this a little smaller. This is him counting money. Such a beautiful baby girl, man. Man, so sad. This is him counting money. This is a video he did where it appears he is telling people that they're working like slaves. So he has a bunch of money that he was given. This is him acting as though he's homeless with his daughter again, dirtbag, claiming that they're homeless so people will give them money. And then this was him as soon as he found out that he was being pursued by ICE, which he knew of the whole time. He's just on social media again, trying to get money. This guy is a hustler. Imagine this is just another video of him talking about, basically his videos are talking about how he's going to get away with this. There's no problems. And finally, thank God, finally arrested by ICE while in Ohio after sparking fury with TikTok videos sharing squatting tips. But again, if you go and look at, well, you can't look at it now because his account's banned, as it should be. Like, can you imagine somebody saying natural immunity? They get banned. This guy's sharing tips about squatting and invading homes, and they're like, well, you know, oh, he's a minority. He's doing good. It's like, what? So they finally took his account down. They've arrested him, which is just beautiful. And, you know, it just shows that the system that's in place right now is terrible. And even with Biden talking about all of the things that he wants to buy and put in place with his border deal, talking about judges, fent detectors, you know, all of these things that he's talking about doing, all it's going to do is enable more people to do what this guy's doing. That's all it's going to do. It's not going to make the process better. It's not going to secure the border at all. It's just going to make it so guys like this can continue to do this. Because as long as the process remains that they come over illegally, money, cell phone, and believe me, I don't feel better that the cell phone is a tracking device. Everyone's cell phone is a tracking device. It's also a cell phone that does many things. You know what I mean? So for them to say, we're giving it to them as a tracking device. No, you're giving it to them because it's a phone. And they can use it to be called by ICE, you know, when they have their checkups. Granted, I'll give them that. But also it's so they can do whatever they want. It's so a guy like this can make a TikTok account and start telling illegal immigrants to start invading homes. That's also what it does. Very, very interesting. And then going back to that first clip that I showed you where they're talking about a gentleman who got deported 8 different times. Think about this. Think about this when they were talking about that guy. Got deported 8 different times. Every time he came back, he got another phone. He got more money. You know, if he was going to New York, gets a debit card over and over and over again. I don't know in the span of how long he did this, but each time you're getting a phone, you're getting money, you go and do a crime. They instead of jailing you and being like, you're going to do like hard labor or whatever, you're just like, you're out. And then you just go and do it again. You get money again. You get phone again. You get to do what you want again. And then they just send you back. It's just, all you're doing is just taking trips. He's like a businessman. That guy who's been jailed 8 times, deported 8 times, has traveled more than I have in my entire life. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I wanted to use this time to actually show you a little something here. This is Trump's plan. This is him talking about his plan, a little video article talking about his plan when it comes to immigration. Now, as people hear this plan, everyone, when you first hear it and you don't have any of those examples that I just showed you, it's like, this might be a little rough. But think about that. Think about that guy making that account, times that by hundreds of people. They're not all going to make TikTok accounts. That's crazy. But they all are going to benefit from the system. All of them are going to benefit from the system this way. So as you start hearing what Trump's saying, you start to realize, this isn't really harsh. This is necessary. It's going to take, when you have this harsh chaos that is everywhere because of this issue, you're going to need harsh order. It's just the way it has to be. You can't just have more chaos because you want to be a good person. You want to be a good person, tolerant, inclusive, all that stuff. You can't just do that because that just erodes society. So you're going to have some harsh order come in. And for a brief moment in time, it's going to feel terrible. It's going to look terrible. I know it is. I love Trump. I do. I talk about my bias all the time on my other channel, and I'll talk about it here. I like Trump a lot. I want to see him as president. But it's going to look terrible. When he first gets in office and he first does this, it's going to look wild. But afterwards, it's going to be great. I really like to liken this to Poland situation. They have video of people getting sprayed with hoses at their border because they don't get too many people trying. But when they do, they're very aggressive about their border not getting penetrated at all. And when you watch it, it looks crazy because you're from the outside. You're watching it from the outside. People getting sprayed. It looks horrendous. But then also, when you ask them about their safety level and how the economy's doing and everything, how their border's doing, they're like, perfect. The person who was running Poland, I believe, he just outright said, you can call me racist, you can call me prejudiced, you can call me all these things. He's like, my duty is to the people. And Trump's taking that same type of stance. Here, let's watch this.
All the time, I'll solve the border problems within 24 hours of taking office.
Echoing campaign promises from his first run for the White House, former President Donald Trump has vowed to crack down on immigration again if he's elected to a second term in office. Some of the policies he wants to implement may sound familiar, but others would be unprecedented. Trump has said he would bring back his Remain in Mexico program, which forced non-Mexican asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for the resolution of their cases. The program was terminated by President Joe Biden, who promised more humane and orderly immigration policies. Trump has also said he will seek to detain all migrants caught crossing the U.S.-Mexico border illegally, ending what he calls catch and release. And he has pledged to close gaps in the border wall, a core promise from his 2016 campaign if he returns to the White House.
I will immediately reinstate and expand the wildly successful Trump travel ban on entry from terror-plagued countries, territories, and places.
In an October speech, Trump pledged to restrict U.S. entry to people from the Gaza Strip, Libya, Somalia, Syria, Yemen, and, quote, anywhere else that threatens our security. Trump also said he would bar the entry of immigrants who support Hamas and send deportation officers to pro-Hamas protests.
If you support Hamas or any ideology that's having to do with that, or any of the other really sick thoughts that go through people's minds, very dangerous thoughts, you're disqualified.
Trump also plans to launch the largest deportation effort in U.S. history. According to a report from the New York Times, Trump aims to deport millions of illegal immigrants with large-scale roundups and by creating camps to hold them while they await removal. He's also vowed to take aggressive new steps with the help of the National Guard to deport immigrants with criminal records and suspected gang members. Trump said he would again move.
So just think about like exactly what I just said. Think about how that was going to look, right? We're talking about camps. We're talking about roundups. We're talking about National Guard. It's going to look absolutely terrible, but it's going to help the people. First off, it's going to help the people who come over legally, right? Because it's going to free up the system in that sense. It's going to create a whole other backlog in the system, I'm sure, but it's going to free those people up to get seen and taken care of properly. It's also going to free up a lot of jobs for regular working Americans. And I know that sounds weird, like, oh, but the old trope of, who's going to clean the toilets? Well, it's like, that's ridiculous. There's many people who need work. There's many people that want to work. It's going to help tremendously. How long? Is it going to happen right away? No. But it's going to look so bad when he first does it. But the people who understand will understand. That's the thing. If you get what he's doing, I just want to find that Poland on immigration. Yeah, let's see. Because this guy, if I could find this guy. Oh yeah, I think this is it. He is very upfront about how he feels. Yeah, I just found it. Little bonus video for everybody today. Let's go. Let's jump on this video.
Closed. Warsaw has resisted taking in refugees from Syria, Afghanistan and Eritrea, among others. But then the government realized the country had a problem, a massive labor shortage. So their solution, oversee the largest influx of migrant workers the country has seen in recent history. Over the last few years, more than 2 million foreigners have arrived in Poland. They're mostly Christian from neighboring Ukraine. So are migrants okay so long as they're not Muslim? Well, to answer that, we're joined by Polish MP Dominik Tarczynski from the ruling Law and Justice Party. He's also the Vice President of the European Conservatives Group in the Council of Europe. Dominik, is that it? 2 million Ukrainians are okay, but not one Muslim, because that's just how you guys feel about it.
Good evening, Imran. Thank you for having me. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with Islamophobia. It's all about safety. As I said previously, everyone is allowed to apply. Everyone is allowed to submit the documents, ask for a permission, ask for a visa, and then our interior minister will decide if he's needed for our society. The difference between immigration and refugees as a legal difference. You are mixing words. It's very important because the difference is quite big. First of all, refugee is the person who flees to the first safe country by the international law. Immigrant, especially illegal immigrant, is not welcome in Poland. This is what we promised, and these words will be kept. Basically, we are not talking about people who are in need. We are not talking about Muslims. We are talking about a law, international law and Polish law. We don't want any illegal migration in Poland. This is what we promised. This is why our government was elected, and not even one Muslim illegal migrant will come to Poland, ever.
What do you mean by safety? Why is safety connected to Muslim? Explain that to me.
First of all, that's very clear, very simple. In Germany, over 200,000 of so-called refugees just vanished, disappeared. Nobody knows who are they, where are they, and what are they going to do. Nobody knows. 200,000 people. Can you imagine how many people is that? It's just crazy. So this quota system, which was offered by Germany, failed, as we know, and this is against our safety in Europe. This is very huge issue. First of all, I'm talking about the terrorist attacks committed by radical Islamists. I couldn't hear very strong words from imams who would condemn this kind of attacks. That's number one. Rapes in Sweden, hidden for 13 months. I'm talking about the youth festival where girls were raped by illegal Muslim migration immigrants. And
you're saying it has nothing to do with Muslims, but then you're saying
Germany,
Muslims are
Colin,
terrorists and Muslims
where people
are rapists.
were raped as well, was hidden.
Right. Okay, but again, you're saying it has nothing to do with Muslims, but
of
Muslims are rapists and terrorists.
But these cases,
right.
It's true.
Okay.
It's true, but these cases are committed by illegal Muslim migration, which was proven by the police in Sweden,
if I had
in
to give you
Germany,
an example,
in France, in many other countries.
Okay, so Dominic, let me
This Dominique guy, he goes so hard and he keeps bringing it up. When he says that's what we promised, he's not talking about some promise between politicians. He's talking about the promise he made to the people of Poland. And the fact that, and he said it before, he goes, no Muslim illegals equals no terror attacks. Now, why he's saying that is because exactly the example he gave in terms of Germany. They took in a bunch of illegals, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And how were they gone? The exact same way this Venezuelan guy was supposed to be in one place, is in Ohio. They can't find him. That's just one person. He's saying that happened in Germany with 200,000 people. And obviously they're not scattered around Germany. I'm sure some of them are, but they're probably all around Europe. Probably some of them figured out a way to be here, registered in Germany. Maybe they got over to America by now. Who knows? It's just... and I only show this to just show Poland just takes the safety of their people and the continent that they're on very, very seriously. They're not playing around. This guy will go to bat with anybody that has a problem with what he has to say, and he hasn't budged on his position at all. And all I'm saying is, when Trump gets in office, because I think he's going to win. That's just me. I could be wrong. Of course, it's an election. Everybody has to choose, right? But I think when Trump gets in office, it's going to look a lot like that gentleman. The way that he's talking, the way it's just like very clear cut. But when he talks about it, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Now, is he focusing on Muslims? Maybe because that's an issue in Europe where it's mostly that. America is going to have mostly people from South America. Mostly. And then next I would probably think is going to be Middle East Muslim. And then after that, the next demographic I would assume would be African. And then after that, I believe would be Chinese. So you have to kind of take that stance in order to make sure your society's safe. I've said it so many times on my main channel. I'm saying it here. So many times in the name of inclusion, we're allowing certain parts of society to erode. Even more so, we're allowing certain chaos to ensue, all because we want to be a good person. It's almost like that parent that wants to be a good parent, that wants to be a cool parent. So when the kids are, want to have a drink or whatever, oh, you can come over to our house, you can just have a little drink, whatever. They want to be the cool parent. But that ends up with chaos ensuing in that kid's lives, in those kids' lives, just because you wanted to be tolerant. You wanted to seem cool. You wanted everybody. You were virtue signaling to the whole neighborhood. That's exactly what's happening in America. And when Trump puts a stop to it, again, it's going to look like that strict parent. And nobody likes a strict parent. But in a few years, when you grow up, you look back and you say, wow, I'm glad that they cared enough to be that strict with me and set up those rules. And I think that's what we're about to see now. And it's going to be rough. I don't think this is going to be an easy process for Trump at all. It's going to look very, very rough. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to give you that update. We got a little off topic, but kind of on topic. Just wanted to give you that update on that influencer. He has been arrested, and hopefully nobody follows in his footsteps. And other than that, like, subscribe. Gotta subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000. I'm doing it all over again. And other than that, I'm out.